The drama surrounding Shadur Sanders on draft day was nothing short of a movie script. Imagine being a projected top 10 pick, hyped as one of the most polished quarterbacks in years, and then watching round after round go by with your name left hanging in the air. Cameras caught every flicker of disappointment as prospects no one expected to hear about leapfrogged him. By the time the 5th round came around, what should have been a coronation was a nightmare. Most players in that situation would have been desperate for any opportunity, but not Sanders. When the Baltimore Ravens called at pick 141, ready to make him their guy, he shocked the league with a simple refusal. Thanks, but no thanks. That one decision alone would have been enough to set off fireworks. But the revelations didn't stop there. ESPN reported it as arrogance, the son of Deion Sanders supposedly too proud to back up Lamar Jackson, two-time MVP, in the face of Baltimore's franchise. Sports talk shows lit up the airwaves. Analysts accused him of entitlement, of delusion, spitting in the face of the rare stability that comes with an organization like the Ravens. For 3 days, that was the accepted narrative. Sanders had become the poster child for wasted potential before he had even signed his rookie deal. But then Cam Newton stepped in. On September 17, 2025, on his own podcast, Newton leaned into the mic and detonated a truth bomb that reframed everything. According to his source, Sanders didn't just reject Baltimore. He rejected 3 different teams that day: the Philadelphia Eagles, the Cleveland Browns, and the Ravens. Suddenly, what had looked like ego began to look like strategy. Sanders hadn't been a diva, turning down one team. He'd been a young man staring at the crossroads of his career, willing to risk going completely undrafted if it meant avoiding the wrong fit. Newton didn't stop at the names. He painted a vivid picture of a 20-2-30-minute stretch during the 5th round. When Sanders' agent, David Melagetta, was juggling calls from multiple franchises, while his client calmly refused them one after another, this wasn't panic. It wasn't desperation. It was conviction. Newton accused ESPN of committing journalistic malpractice by reporting only half the story, claiming that by presenting it as a one-team rejection, they had manufactured a narrative that made Sanders look reckless rather than deliberate. If you only report some of the truth, Newton said, you're just as guilty as telling a lie. What made Newton's bombshell even more compelling was its timing. Just days earlier, Sanders had spent an entire week mimicking Lamar Jackson in practice as Cleveland's scout team quarterback. The irony was thick. The very man he had supposedly disrespected, by refusing to sit behind him, was the same quarterback. He had to imitate to prepare his teammates and then watch beat his new team 17-10 to the outside world. It looked like hypocrisy. To Newton, it was proof of Sanders' clarity. He knew Lamar wasn't a door he could walk through. He respected him too much to sit and pray for an injury just to get on the field. That word respect became the most controversial piece of this saga. According to Newton's source, Sanders wasn't rejecting teams because he thought he was above them. He was rejecting situations because he had too much respect for the quarterbacks in front of him. Lamar Jackson in Baltimore, Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia. Both were young, durable, locked into long-term deals, and entrenched as franchise icons. For Sanders, saying yes to those teams meant condemning himself to 4 or 5 years of invisibility, hoping against hope for a catastrophic injury that would crack the door open. Newton argued that no young quarterback should be forced into that toxic mental space. And then there was Cleveland. The Browns weren't offering stability. They weren't offering prestige. What they were offering was chaos, and with chaos comes opportunity. Joe Flacco was 40 years old and creaking with every throw. Dillon Gabriel, their rookie pick, was raw and overwhelmed. The entire quarterback room was one injury or one bad game away from implosion. Sanders saw what others didn't, a path to the field. He wasn't choosing dysfunction over greatness. He was choosing a chance to compete straight up, rather than sit behind greatness with no hope of ever unseating it. This decision split the football world down the middle. Supporters hailed it as genius, a rare case of a rookie controlling his destiny instead of being swallowed by the machine. Critics saw recklessness, arrogance, and a player already burning bridges before taking a single snap. Social media became the battleground, with over 40,000 posts dissecting every angle of the story. One side called him a visionary, the other a fool, but the fallout didn't stop with fans. Newton's accusations against ESPN lit a fire under the entire sports media landscape. The suggestion that the biggest outlet in the business had shaped a half-truth into a character assassination forced everyone to reckon with the question: who controls the story? And what happens when the truth gets bent for easy outrage? Newton framed it as bigger than football. This was about power, perception, and the ability of one voice to rewrite a player's legacy overnight. The real kicker came when Sanders hit the field. In his first preseason snaps for the Browns, he went 26 of 35, racking up 267 yards and 2 touchdowns, earning an 82.4 grade from Pro Football Focus. Suddenly, the narrative didn't look so crazy. Maybe he had been right to bet on himself. Maybe rejecting stability for opportunity was the only way to salvage a career that had already taken such a brutal public. Beating Shadur Sanders' draft story isn't just about a 5th-round pick.